front row and say that, then
No introductions are needed. We will go straight to questions. Over here on the right, second row.
what you got?
There we go.
Hey, Coach Mitch Gibbs here, WGSO Radio New Orleans. Wanted you to talk about the rivalry with LSU. I know you guys won last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's they've beaten you a few times here and there, but talk about the significance of that rivalry.
Well, I think it's great because I think recruiting battles. I mean, you're so close. It's a natural rivalry. It used to be a rivalry back in the 80s and 90s. So I remember when I was at LSU, when I coached there, we didn't play A&M. But before that, a lot of people always talked about they wish they would have played. They loved the rivalry with A&M back in because they played all in the late 80s and through the 90s. Is a natural rivalry kind of right there. And I think it's great. Again, your two SEC teams that are so close. They're coming to Texas. We go into Louisiana recruiting and things. We're both in the SEC West, and they have a great program, and we have a great program, and it's a natural fit to me.
Left side, front row.
Chris Farblin, KSOU 81 FM. Of course, you guys bring in Bobby Petrino as an offensive coordinator. A lot of experience. He's worked at a lot of different places. I just want to know, entering this first season, what are the responsibilities lie between you and Bobby as far as between play calling, just running the offense?
Well, I'm not going to get into all the dynamics in which we have, but Bobby takes it. He runs those rooms and does those rooms. We're on there, but I'm in offensive rooms. I'm in defensive rooms all the time as a head coach. You have to be because you get what's going on. But great respect. Like I say, Bobby's one of the best play callers, one of the best offensive minds in college football, has for a long time, and quarterback guys. So he and I have a great respect, great work ethic, and it's been wonderful so far. And then I'm not going to get into from a schematic standpoint of what's going on or that part of it, but this went very well, and we're very blessed to have him.
Left side, front row.
Schweitzer from Starcade Media. Coach, I'm told Texas is going to be following us here into the SEC, playing against you guys. Is that good for college football?
I think it's great. I mean, it's one of the natural rivalries. It's one of the oldest rivalries. So it's a great rivalry. It has been for years. And I think it's great for, of course, the SEC, but I think it's great for college football in general. And it's great for A&M and Texas and the state of Texas. For, your two significant universities to be right there going against each other each and every, hopefully every year, but however that schedule works out. But to get to play them again, I think is great for everybody.
Right side, front row.
Hey, Coach. AP Stedham, AP and Kelly, as we see at syndicated radio. Coach, what are two areas, offense, defense, and special teams, that you must improve to have a better team this year?
Well, I think offensively, I think we got to protect the quarterback better. I think we got to have protection and being able to create pockets and things that he can do and establish the lines of scrimmage. I think, being consistent in the routes and being able so a quarterback can make great decisions. I think defensively, I think we got to play the run better. Try to create some more turnovers and be able to be physical up front, but be more disciplined in our gap controls because we got great D linemen and linebackers in the front seven. We got to play the run better, which will allow us to have better third down situations, be able to get off the field. And in the special teams world, I think, to me, everybody looks for the dynamic, but in special teams, it's the consistency. We've got a new long snapper in Jacob Graham, which I think has done an excellent job. We had the kickers last year. We swapped over, and he took over, and our punter, Nick, is doing a great job. Randy Bond, our kicking, and Nick with our punting. And I think stay very consistent. Don't get bored in special teams. And then when you do things, I think in the return game, we have some dynamic guys that can run. I think trying to find ways to give them a little more space initially when they get the ball to get started. Because all great punt returners, everybody says the walls are stuff. Listen, those great guys, you just get them started, and they get guys in space. They naturally, them and God take over, and they kind of end up in the end zone or on big plays. I think making sure we give those guys enough room to get things started in the return game.
Right side, front row.
Coach, thank you very much for being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's talking about Alabama's quarterback this coming year, who it's going to be. You guys played Jalen Milroe last year. What type of challenges did he prevent from a defensive standpoint?
And he came to camp. He was from Houston. I knew him very well. Tremendous athlete, great arm strength, leader, fighter, as far as I'm saying, not a fight, but I mean a competitor, you know what I'm saying, and a tough guy that's athletic and can throw the football and beat you in a lot of different ways, and he's a heck of a player. I mean, he really is. I mean, I couldn't imagine having a lot of finer athletes on the team than he is and what he does, and we played against him last year, made great decisions against us, tucked the ball a couple times, made some huge runs, and made the throws at the right time, and he's a very good player for them.
Left side, second row.
Kennedy Wright from CBS 42. Coach, is it appropriate to say there will be friendly competition between Evan Stewart and newly recruited Cameron Coleman?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about Cameron because he's not I'm not allowed to talk about guys that aren't signed, so I can't get into that. But hopefully about all of our guys. Listen, you as a coach, that's what you want in practice. you want tremendous competition in your players. The guys have to perform every day in practice to stay on the field because they're creating practice habits, which now allow them to create game habits and can perform under pressure. And all your great players, you want that depth. You want to be able to know that if I slip up a day, a guy can take my job. That's great to have because it keeps you on your toes and what you have to do. And I think the great teams, best teams I've ever been a part of, our best weren't the games, it was practice, the competition within each position, the competition against offense and defense, and I think that is critical, and I think this is one of the times, I think we have that right now in our organization.
Right side, fourth row.
Chris Williams, CBS Oklahoma. Coach, you came from the ACC, your program came from the Big 12. What are going to be the biggest differences and adjustments for OU and their fans joining the conference next year?
Well, I mean, when I was at Florida, I coached at Auburn, I coached at SC and at LSU, so I had a little advantage in that. But I think that lines of scrimmage are so physical in this league, offense and defensive line. I think you got to have the size of people, the size of the players in our league, the length, I mean, I'm not talking about just front guys. I'm talking about corners. I'm talking about receivers. I'm talking about tight. I mean, they're massive and long. You know what I mean? The athleticism and it's that makes a difference. Size makes a difference because the bodies, the length, the wear and tear of a season, the pounding, and I think depth. You got to have depth because guys are going to get banged up in this league. It's a physical league, and that's why there's the most NFL players of any league. And listen, those guys they have great programs. I mean, I'm not here to judge them whether they come in good, bad, indifferent, and they know how to do it, and those coaches know how to do it. They both played in good leagues, so they'll know what to do. But I will say that's one thing in this league: the speed, but the size and the physicality of this league is very unique.
Left side, fourth row.
Hey, Coach, Colin Wilson of the Action Network. Has there been any separation between Connor Wigman and Max Johnson for starting quarterback duties, and is there anybody in the depth chart below that has a chance to start?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen them since spring practice, and I think they both had good springs. But I'm hearing they both feel very good about what they've done. So we'll find out when fall camp starts. And again, you can have great springs, and I come into camp. I've had that happen with guys. So you got to make sure that happens. But I'm very confident in both guys. But I think the young guys too. I mean, there's Marcel and those guys, and we have transfers that came in too from Fresno. So I mean, those guys are all really good players. So we'll open up competition. And the way we practice, we put 1s and 3s on the field and 2s and 4s. So our 1s and 4s get the same amount of reps. So we'll get to see, and then those guys jump and show that they can play and get in that battle. We'll find out.
Left side, fourth row.
Coach Justin Woodard, KX TV and College Station. Receiver core-wise, between Evan and Moose and those guys, seems like big playability might be there more so this year.
Well, hopefully it is. I mean, from two things: experience, and I think you have speed, and I think the emergence of Noah. See, Noah was our MVP of the spring. Everybody forgets about him, which, I mean, guys, he wasn't good. He was really good. Now, you didn't get to see him in the spring game because he got nicked up on that first drive in there, but the things he does, the versatility, being in the slot, he can move around. Moose, as you saw last year, can catch the football as well. Anias' versatility, the things he does. Evan, of course, with uniqueness. And hopefully now you can even take him and move him in different positions to create matchups. And I think that's where the knowledge of those guys can happen. But all those guys have either size or speed or quickness that can create big plays, whether it's going deep or even catch and run things where, in your screen games or your underneath games, and we have. But also Micah Tees, Cottrell. I mean, those guys have done a tremendous job in what they're doing. We had the new Anthony Jordan just came in as a transfer, can really run. There's a great group of guys in that room that can have it, and that's the name of the game. You got to create big plays, and having that ability. And I think as we get better in the offensive line to be able to create time and different things that we are able to do, and experience at quarterback, hopefully we can get that ball down the field.
Fourth row again.
Yeah, Coach Ike Jones with the War Report. I know you can't get into the specifics of the scheme, but has the offensive game plan been a collaborative effort between you and Coach Petrino, or has it been
Well,
one
it always
more
is
one or the
because Bobby and I have went against each other for many years. There's a lot of things he's done I like, a lot of things I've done he's like. We've been friends for years, but then you always do that. Things that work fit your personnel and how it goes, and then we'll work it through and how we do.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go right up here on the front, and then we'll go.
Noah Groniger, Starcade Media. There's a lot of good schools and atmospheres within the SEC, but what makes Texas A&M, Kyle Field, and College Station stand out among that group?
Two things. First, I think in the 12th man and everybody, but the students. You have 36,000 students. They're at the game. They don't sit down. They're at every game. The uniqueness of the fans, no matter when we play, what we play, early day, night, they're always there. And I'm going to tell you the one thing I love about that field, it sits on top of you. If you go to all the other places, you're back, those fields that sit down on top of you, they have a greater effect, in my opinion. I mean, that's me from a road perspective, from being on that road. I mean, and there's true genuine enthusiasm. You get it right, it's 110,000 people in there. I mean, and what they're doing is added a bunch of new sky boxes across the internet, so it'd be more people now. But I mean, it's the genuineness, the uniqueness of it, and their true love for it. And those students, man, and those 12th man fans are as good as it gets. I mean, it's a bucket list place. If you ain't never seen a game there, it's a place you need to see a football game at. I'm telling you.
Final question, third row.
Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340 Sports. Jimbo, when you hear the words hot seat associated with your name, does that challenge you or does it kind of tick you off? Because your body of work is really good.
No, I don't. I mean, you say hot seat. My own not having success motivates me more. I say this from within. Coaches put more pressure and are more competitive than anybody else out there that does it. What you say, how you say, that doesn't affect us. We don't listen to it. You can't. Those are things that don't matter. We know what we have to do and how we have to do it. But if you want to have success for your players, 2, the people who work for you, and 3, your fans. That those people that support you, and A&M's done that way. And you put that own pressure upon yourself to go, because you don't ever like to fail. And listen, my buddy, I was at home this summer, and he said, something happened. We were actually throwing a cornhole. He said, and they were beating us. They were beating me and my son. And we were playing best out of 3, and they won the son. They were up 11 or 12 to nothing in the second game. And he said, now we're going to have to play till you win like we did since you were 3 years old, where you had to sit there and play till you won. You wouldn't leave till you won the game somehow, some way. I said, no, we're going to win it now. We come back and beat them, then beat them second game. We're down. We made a heck of a comeback. But my point was, that's always in us as coaches and players. You know, that competitive, whether you say hot seat, whether you don't say hot seat, I don't, it's not I don't pay attention, you don't pay attention. You can't. You got to go what makes you successful. And anytime I lose one game, I don't care if you're 11-1, 12, whatever it is, that drives you to have success. You want perfection. We're here to have perfection each and every day and who you are as a person and what you want for your kids and get them to understand that. So, I mean, does it matter? It doesn't matter, and I'm not trying to brush it off, but at the same time, I put that up on myself. I'm on a hot seat when we're 10-0. I don't feel any different whether you're 1-3 or 10-0 when I go into a game and how you prepare and how you look at it. I really don't. I know that sounds, people don't believe that, but that's a fact.